And now, it's time for the big season finale that I cannot possibly build up any more than it already has been. Ladies and gentlemen, from a critic first and a fan second, here's the second opinion on the Cutie remark. So in our last two-parter, which we know was essentially part one of this story, we had lead writer Megan McCarthy, fan favorite M.A. Larson, and surprise standout Scott Sonneborn writing it. Can you even imagine who they'll have writing this? That's it? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Josh Haber, he still has my favorite Applejack and my favorite Rarity episode, but isn't his resume a little short on fan favorite episodes, and episodes period, to justify this? I know he got to write the latest Equestria Girls movie, but that segment of the franchise has been trying to figure itself out since it started up, to the point where I could kind of understand putting a promising newbie with some fresh ideas in charge. This is an episode that the entire Cutie Mark themed season has been building up to, without explicitly leading into it with any of the episodes beyond the season premiere, meaning it has to follow up and advance a relatively complex two-parter all by itself. I mean, has this guy really earned Megan McCarthy's confidence that much? Well, I guess we'll see. And we already know, with the leaked synopsis, that the episode is going to have a time travel story about Starlight Glimmer altering the timeline and a Cutie Mark / Destiny theme, so we can skip past Twilight building that up with her school lecture that's most interesting for how there might be some build-up for next season in it, and get right to Starlight Glimmer.
Welcome home, Twilight. We traveled back in time to when Rainbow Dash raced the bullies who made fun of Fluttershy and performed her first sonic rainboom?
Sorry about this.
And yeah, it goes without saying that the apocalyptic future they return to is awesome, building up a lot of ideas on how much different and how much more difficult everyone's lives could be. And as some have pointed out, it makes you wonder if the writers are at least familiar with Fallout Equestria.
I'll just use Starlight's version of the spell and go back a little earlier and stop her before she even knows we're there.
Oh, returning to the past was very easy, and they're just going to toss that story out the window. I mean, typically with these altered future stories, we stay stuck in the bad timeline a little while to see how the heroes would have to cope and rise to the challenge if this were their reality instead, and to build up how fragile and changeable everything they've accomplished really is. Not to mention how much we'd miss it if they failed to change it back.
What's going on here?
Oh, I was just reminding these two colts how hurtful teasing can be. Oh, isn't it a shame we don't live in a world where every pony is equal? No one would ever tease anyone there.
It'd be nice not to be teased, of course, but that's not the same thing.
You guys already did that, and pretty much thoroughly disproved her. You're gonna have to bring up some new points or it's not a follow-up, just a rehash.
Fluttershy? Silence! Changeling.
Okay, I'm not sure if these apocalyptic futures carry the same weight, knowing that even in situations like this, Twilight should be able to just teleport onto the table and travel back again.
Stop! If they are changelings, we'll soon see inside. The meaning is far worse, I see, for it is we who should not be.
This is the second time I've come back and this world is even worse than the last one.
Time is a river where even the tiniest changes seen can lead to a cascade of effects downstream.
Wow, this is some of the coolest stuff that's been done with Zecora in a long, long time. Okay, so now that they've finished establishing the basic tropes of time travel, how the little changes to key moments can make the biggest differences and such, we can probably start building up the overarching narrative of this story. Typically in these same scenarios / mini-adventures that keep working out wrong type stories, the point is for the protagonist to learn something more from each one, working towards what the solution will be as the main hurdles become clearer.
It's taken quite a while to find you, Zecora.
Just rinse and repeat.
Tell me how you came by this magic to travel through time. The princess asked you a question, and unless you want to end up in the dungeon, you'll tell her what she wants to know.
Oh, Nightmare Moon was the one who achieved total victory? That's interesting.
I can take you to it, but you'll have to get past the Timberwolves.
Do you think I can't deal with Timberwolves? Now you will give this spell to me.
Sucker! Okay, so now you're just gonna let it be a montage of failed attempts? I'd like to see what you'd do after there were no more two-part villains. You know what? I don't think I need a big epic special occasion review to sum this one up. I can pretty much just do it offhand. By structuring the adventure so it resets to square 1.5 like clockwork without carrying over much from the chapter before, you kill most of the momentum, both in the rising action and in the arc of the story. The former can only be so exciting when we know that Twilight succeeding in each scene isn't essential, and the latter is non-existent. There is no significant arc to this story. It just keeps repeating the same basic points, that Rainbow's first sonic rainboom and the gang's friendship are critical pieces of destiny, both of which we already knew. Once or twice it stops to tack on an idea for a theme or a lesson by telling and not showing, but it's like it's more concerned with showing off cool, fan-servicey visuals and concepts than with how it can use them as part of a greater story, one that builds and expands on fan interest rather than just pandering it into the ground. Holy heck, I think I just summed up this season in a nutshell. And granted, there are plenty of stories out there that don't shoot for the moon and just want to be an entertaining montage of mini-adventures, and that's fine, but this is the wrong time to go that route. Starlight Glimmer's first appearance and what follow-up we got built us up for so much. An exploration of where and why cutie marks and individual talents can be so important. A scheme from Starlight to push her ideal on larger portions of the nation. A payoff to this map showing up out of the blue and sending the gang on different missions all season. A payoff to Twilight seeming to still be adjusting to this as her role in life. I mean, I know Twilight's Kingdom is starting to take it on the chin from fans because, much like the Avengers movie, it's the action one. You can't pick that as your favorite. That means you're like shallow or stupid or something. But you look at how its story progresses and ties back to the build-up from across the season, and it's all there. And it weaves it all together so skillfully while raising the stakes that the consequences and the rewards for everyone's actions in the end both feel very weighty. How does the payoff here stack up?
I don't know how important other ponies' friendships are to the future, but I can show you what the world is like without mine.
But there's nothing here.
I wish I could say I was surprised, but every world I come back to is worse than the last.
You know, you really could have saved a lot of trouble if she really didn't want her plan to work out the way it does from the get-go.
I don't know what happened that led you to make your village without cutie marks.
I'll show you! Sunburst and I did everything together. In fact, I don't remember us ever being apart. Until today. His family recognized his magical talent and sent him off to Canterlot. I never saw him again.
And then...
His cutie mark! He got his, and I didn't. He moved on, and I didn't!
You dedicated your life to leading an isolated village like Big Brother, lied to everyone so they'd let you magically alter their very being, held ponies against their will and tried to brainwash them, and are now trying to ruin their lives. And your backstory is that your preteen BFF got his cutie mark before you did and moved away? I repeat, and then...
I stayed here and never made another friend because I was too afraid another cutie mark would take them away too!
I am so sorry.
I've seen where this leads, and so have you!
I only saw what you showed me. Who knows what'll really happen?
What? Dexter!
You are stupid! You are stupid! You are stupid! You are stupid!
What's so special about your friends? How can a group of ponies that are so different be so important?
The differences between me and my friends are the very things that make our friendship strong.
Again, trying to tack on themes by inserting them into significant moments through dialogue alone. And while you're at it, it's nothing Twilight didn't already say in Starlight's last appearance.
Friendship's only made of what you bring. Who you are inside. Friends are always there for you. Friendship to be true. Friends are always there for you. It's still the same. Together you have more to gain, and a friend won't do.
Guys, yes, that's a pretty big jump from might be willing to rethink being an embittered villain. I mean, if you'd explored her present-day self's vulnerable, lonely side more, or developed some kind of a bond between her and Twilight, like by getting them stuck in an apocalyptic future together or something, maybe. But as is, it's borderline self-parody. Just picture Tearake or Nightmare Moon in Starlight's place if you don't see what I'm talking about, because they didn't do anything that much worse. So in the end, this two-parter is near unforgivable. It's only entertaining and good! How dare it only be entertaining and good! Seriously, the day may never come when we see a bad or even a meh two-parter, but this is the first finale that actually got upstaged by the episode before it. It has to be the weakest two-parter since the Crystal Empire, and whether it's even as good as that is debatable. Of the two, it's probably bigger on creative and visually exciting scenarios, which is no small feat, but at least Crystal Empire kept the narrative to a single escalating conflict, which it clearly got more tension and excitement out of than anything here. It, of course, was a bit shallow, not doing much to make us care about the emotional arcs of Twilight's test or the Crystal Pony's recovery until the very end, but nothing here pushed us to care about Twilight or Starlight and their journey to learn the greater significance of friendship and destiny until the very end. And I'm not even sure I cared then. Still, just by having a song, it automatically tops Crystal Empire in the music department. Nothing in this show will ever fail like the Failure song. You know, strangely enough, Season 5 turned out to be kind of a bizarro Season 4. The latter started out kind of sketchy and subpar, but still clearly trying, until it built its way up to a red-hot second half that had me singing its praises with everyone else. This season started out seeming like it had an onslaught of new ideas for story arcs and all the enthusiasm in the world to go with them, but then it just kept getting more meandering, more pandering, and more filled with amateurish writers, until it tapered off and left me where I am now, saying a lukewarm, it was good, but that might be a video for another day. In the meantime, thanks to everyone for joining me through this season. It's been a pleasure. Though between the movie review and a few other loose ends, we are far from done. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you didn't, just let me know how to go back in time and fix it. And if you'd like to watch another video in this series, click the link on the right. Otherwise, just check the description for more links, and I'll see you next time.